CCG online Mahakethara.
Guys are doing good despite the global crisis is around the corner. This is our second day actually. We had the opening seminar and we had the first day class last Wednesday in which we started the Unit 1 Introduction to Biology. So before starting today's discussion, let's have a small chat and see how the things are going good, the audio quality, and let's start with a small chat. I'll join with the chat screen. Okay, first give me a feedback, children. Can you hear me well? Everybody, those who are in the YouTube live and the Zoom session, Zoom webinar, give me an update. Can you hear me well? If yes is your answer, just type yes. And if no, if there's any technical issue, let us know. I'm getting yes. How about the Zoom webinar? YouTube live seems to be fine. So before starting the work, today also this work goes as a free seminar. So invite your friends to spend a quality 3 hours with biology. You can share the link with your friends and invite them for this discussion. Right. Then let's start the work. Last week we started Unit 1 in biology. As I explained you previously, we have 10 units to complete in our syllabus. And we started with the introduction to biology. Okay, so let's move on from where we stopped. Right. The PDF version of the TUT is available for your temporary use. Once you register with the class, you can get these hard copies. So make sure that you receive the hard copies as soon as possible, especially before we start Unit number 2, because this is Introduction to Biology. But Unit 2 is the syllabus discussion. Today we will be completing this, and if possible we can start Unit 2 as well. Right. Just to recall what we have done, let me ask you some questions. What are the main 3 branches of biology? Quickly respond. In the chat, quickly respond, children. What are the main 3 branches of biology? For the convenience of studying, We have divided biology into main 3 branches. What are those? You need to respond in the chat. They are zoology, that's the study of animals; botany, that's studying of plants; and microbiology, studying about microorganisms. Right. Then in the TUT, we had the discussion about understanding biological diversity. There we learned that the earth was formed around 4.6 billion years before, and which theory explain about the origin of the earth and the solar system, children? Quickly respond. Which theory was put forward to explain the origin of the earth and the solar system? Need quick answers? In the last week discussion, we studied this. It's the Big Bang theory. It's the Big Bang theory. Those who missed the last 2 lectures, since we did them as free sessions for this month, you can get the cover-up classes, or you can get them covered by watching the YouTube live videos in Charitha Munasinghe YouTube channel. The last 2 classes we did, the introductory session and the first class, are available for your reference. So those who missed it, you can watch. And get it covered. And now in the Zoom chat, the PDF version of the TUT is available, and we will be uploading the question papers, memory boosters. Every day we have a short question paper which we usually call as memory booster. So memory booster 1 was given last week. We still have some questions to complete from that as well. And memory booster 2 was added, I think. If not, it will be added soon. Okay, so coming back to the topics we were discussing, then tell me how long before life originated on Earth? Quickly respond, children. There are some inquiries about how can I join continuously. I'll give you the information little later. You need to join with our community and register in our classes in CCG Online Mahagedara. And then as a regular student, you can join with us for a quality experience of biology. From nowhere else in Sri Lanka, you can get this quality, premium quality lecturing in English medium biology. Okay, your answer is 3.7 is wrong, children. Maybe in some old resource books that value 3.8 is available. Don't refer to old resource book. You need to refer to the latest one, in which the figure is given as 3.5 billion years. Correct answer is 3.5 billion years. Okay, right. You can share the link of this either YouTube live or the Zoom link with your friends and invite them for this discussion. Okay, then in the TUT, we discussed page number 7, understanding diseases and causes as well. Am I correct, children? Did we discuss the topic understanding diseases and causes? And can somebody upload the last note, the last page, the very last note that I have given to the chat? A snap. Tell me quickly, children, did we complete page number 7, understanding diseases and causes? Let's keep this chat very active. Quick responses, communication between you and me is very necessary. Otherwise, it will be just passive feeding of information, which is kind of a failed method in education. Right. In understanding diseases and causes, we read the content: cancers, AIDS, heart diseases, chronic renal diseases, those stuff. So let's start a small discussion about understanding diseases and causes. Tell me, like, have we written a note regarding this? Quickly respond, children. Have we written a note regarding understanding diseases and causes in the notebook in the last week class? As far as I remember, we did not. No. Okay, so let's start. Let's start by reading this content first. Understanding diseases and causes. Okay, here you can read either this screen or even the PDF is provided to you. Okay, let's start reading, children. To maintain healthy human body, one should have the knowledge of causes of the disease and their effects. Some dangerous diseases which exist in current world are non-communicable diseases such as cancers, heart diseases, diabetes, chronic renal diseases, and communicable diseases such as dengue, AIDS, etc. Cancers, causes for this is not fully understood yet. First, let's read this content. Thereafter, we can have the discussion. Cancers are one of the leading causes of death. AIDS is a viral disease which is a serious and growing health problem worldwide. Causes are not fully understood yet. Then chronic renal diseases in Sri Lanka. Recently, CKDU has become a serious health problem. Currently, scientists are working on prevention, remedial measures, and cures for such diseases. Right. Start the note, children. Start the note in your notebook. Previously, we have written about understanding biological diversity. So let's write about understanding diseases and causes. Next, we are at the very beginning of the syllabus. Okay, note down. New topic, understanding diseases and causes. Understanding diseases and causes. Write the topic, understanding diseases and causes. Children, in case if they asked you to write some examples for communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, in the world there are thousands of diseases which belong to these categories, but you can answer only from the scope that they have given in the resource book. You can't give any kind of an answer that you know, even though they are correct. They only accept the facts which are given in the resource book only. Okay? Right. So the given examples in the resource book should be written in your answers, not anything apart from that. Okay, note down. Heart diseases, diabetes, chronic renal diseases, and communicable diseases such as dengue and AIDS. Wait. Let's continue. Heart diseases, diabetes, chronic renal disease, and cancers. Heart diseases, diabetes, chronic renal diseases, and cancers are examples for non-communicable diseases. Are examples for non-communicable diseases. Are examples for non-communicable diseases. That means they are not transmitted from a diseased person to a healthy individual. Especially the infectious diseases are transmissible or communicable. Next point. Dengue and AIDS. Dengue and AIDS. Dengue and AIDS. What is AIDS, children? What does AIDS stand for? Quickly give me the answer in the chat. What's meant by AIDS? There's a question, is this day 3 or 4? No, the first day was just the introduction. We did not discuss anything in the syllabus in the first day. It was a Saturday we had the discussion first. And then it was last Wednesday we started the work. So today is the second day. We have different classes. This is the PO online class we are conducting right now. The live streaming of our physical classes is also done parallel to the physical classes on Tuesday night and Thursday night. We have the live streaming work. So the children, those who have come to those classes may get a repetition here because this is the PO online class. This is the only one PO online class we conduct. Yes, I'm getting the correct answers. Acquired immuno. No, it's not immuno. Better to say immune. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome. The answer is acquired immune deficiency. Immune or immunobota. Okay. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome or immune deficiency syndrome. The Zoom chat, I can't see still. YouTube children are answering, but in the Zoom webinar, I'm not getting your responses yet. You need to answer, children. What do you know about these diseases? What's the common fact regarding AIDS and dengue? Yeah, what you said is correct. It's acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Within brackets mention that too. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Dengue and AIDS. AIDS within brackets mention acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Right, what is the common fact for both these diseases, children? When we compare the two diseases, Dengue and AIDS, what's the common fact? Both are caused by viruses or bacteria, or what's your idea? And now I can see the answers of Zoom chat as well. Yes, both are viral diseases. You are correct. Both are viral diseases. Your answers are correct. Hannah is asking, so in Sinhala resource book it's 3.5, but in English one it's 3.8. Which one is correct? No, not a difference between English medium and Sinhala medium. It's the old version, the old edition of the resource book and the new edition of the resource book. You have referred to new edition of Sinhala medium resource book and the old one of English medium resource book. That's why you get two different time periods. The correct answer that you have to memorize is the life originated over 3.5 billion years before, not 3.8. 3.8 fact was given in the old resource book. Don't refer to that by the latest one. In case if you refer, that's why I suggested you can simply study from our tutorials, which are very precisely updated. Okay, what you said is correct. Then again they say, sir, it's 2019 new syllabus. Yeah, of course, in 2019 for the new syllabus, they started with a resource book and then they edited it. They have edited it more than 5-6 times. So by the latest resource book available, the latest edition, all these editions are for 2000, for the new syllabus started since 2019. But the editions have differences. So the advisable thing to do is buy the latest edition, or simply just forget it. If it's not available, you can refer to the tutorials. They are highly updated. 21 edition is not the latest as far as I remember. Okay, right, let's continue with the work, children. So we were writing that dengue and AIDS, within brackets, acquired immune or immunodeficiency syndrome, are viral diseases. Contribute your note. Dengue and AIDS are viral diseases and they are examples for communicable diseases. Contribute your note. And they are examples for communicable diseases. They are examples for communicable diseases. Right. From the given disease list, I'll select just one and let's have some sort of a discussion about this disease. As far as I remember, in this PO online class, we did not discuss about myocardial infarction. Did we? No. Okay, so let's watch a video first, children. I'll show you a video first. Thereafter, we can watch, we can have the discussion about myocardial infarction. In simple terms, how do we call myocardial infarction, children? In simple terms, how can we call myocardial infarction? How do ordinary people call it? Heart attack, yes. So hereafter being bio students, you can call it MI. MI is not mission impossible, it's myocardial infarction, okay? While others call it heart attack, you just call it myocardial infarction. That's an easy way of earning some respect. Because when you speak something that others do not understand, people start respecting you. That's an easy way of earning some respect. Okay, I'll give you some more terms. You can try them. No more heart attacks, you call it myocardial infarction. Okay, so let's watch the video. Thereafter, we can have a chat about this. Give us a feedback whether you can hear the audio, children. Can you hear? Respond. Cannot hear is the answer. Okay, we'll still fixing. We can replay it. How is it now, children? Can you hear? Can you hear the sound? Still no. YouTube children, can you hear? We cannot see the screen. Okay, we are still fixing it. Wait.
Clot is the most common cause of a
We will replay it. We are fixing the audio issue.
Spasm, which is triggered by drugs, smoking, cold weather, or extreme stress, resulting
Now
in
can
a
you hear?
sudden tightening of the coronary
Okay,
artery
so we'll play it
or a
from the
coronary
beginning.
artery dissection.
Since you
Other
could not
less
hear.
blockage.
This video is about a heart attack or a myocardial infarction. This is more detailed than what we want in A levels. Now can you see
ACS
and can you hear?
MI. Acute coronary syndrome, or ACS,
Okay,
is a
right.
set of one or more
So what?
conditions that cause the blockage of blood
Thereafter
flow
we
to the
can
heart
discuss.
muscles, resulting in a myocardial infarction, or MI. The heart is a muscular organ that pumps blood, containing oxygen and nutrients, to the rest of the body. The left ventricle is the main pumping chamber of the heart and contracts to send oxygenated blood to the rest of the body through the aorta. Several smaller arteries, known as coronary arteries, are connected to the aorta and supply the muscles of the heart with the necessary oxygen and nutrients. In acute coronary syndrome, there is a blockage in the blood flow through the coronary arteries, usually due to an atherosclerotic plaque, a coronary artery spasm, or a coronary artery dissection. In atherosclerosis, the continued deposition of a fatty plaque results in the narrowing of the involved coronary artery. Rupture of this plaque results in the formation of a blood clot, thereby causing a blockage of the involved coronary artery. The formation of a blood clot is the most common cause of a coronary artery blockage. Other less common causes of coronary artery blockage include a coronary artery spasm, which is triggered by drugs, smoking, cold weather, or extreme stress, resulting in a sudden tightening of the coronary artery, or a coronary artery dissection, in which the inside wall of the coronary artery separates, resulting in a blockage to the blood flow. Such a blockage to either of the coronary arteries results in oxygen and nutrients failing to reach the part of the heart supplied by it, causing the death of the heart muscle, a condition known as myocardial infarction. Symptoms of a blocked coronary artery include sudden pain or discomfort, tightening, or a burning sensation in the chest, known as angina, which may extend to the upper abdomen, shoulders, arms, neck, or lower jaw. Angina occurring at rest or as multiple episodes, preventing even moderate physical activity, is known as unstable angina and is commonly observed in acute coronary syndrome. Other symptoms of acute coronary syndrome include 1. Breathlessness, 2. Dizziness, 3. Sweating, 4. Nausea. Treatment of acute coronary syndrome or an MI usually involves the following. 1. Oxygen therapy, to increase the amount of oxygen delivered to the blood and heart. 2. Aspirin or antiplatelet therapy, to prevent blood clots. 3. Thrombolytic therapy, such as TPA or streptokinase, to break up existing blood clots. 4. Nitroglycerine and morphine, to relax the coronary arteries and relieve the pain. 5. Beta blockers, which reduce the heart rate, thereby decreasing the oxygen requirement. 6. Coronary angioplasty, an interventional procedure in which a balloon-tipped catheter is inflated inside a blocked coronary artery to open it, with a stent remaining behind to keep the coronary artery patent. 7. Coronary artery bypass grafting, or CABG, pronounced as cabbage, a surgical procedure in which the blocked coronary artery is bypassed with a vein or artificial graft material in order to re-establish blood flow to the heart.
The howl of a dire wolf hasn't been heard on planet Earth for more than 10,000.
Right. Now, as it was explained in that video, right, as you got the explanation in the video as well, you know that heart is the pumping device in our circulatory system. The heart is a very active organ, as you know. Now, since when your heart started beating, children? Since when your heart started beating? Can you remember the very first day that heart started beating? Yeah, it starts when you are just 4 weeks roughly, and it continues to work as a pump to supply blood to all the body organs. And therefore, it needs a very rich blood supply, because especially the heart wall is composed of 3 layers. Just look at the board, children. The heart wall, okay. If we take a section like this, in the heart wall, there are 3 layers. The innermost layer is called the endocardium, and then we have the myocardium, that is the muscular layer, and then we have the pericardium. So there are 3 layers. The innermost is the endocardium. The middle layer is the myocardium. And the outermost layer is the pericardium. They are the 3 layers of the heart wall. Especially the myocardium consists of cardiac muscles. This myocardium is made of cardiac muscles. You may have learnt about 3 types of muscles. What are those, children? What are the 3 types of muscles? In arms or the upper limbs, then lower limbs, in the body region, mainly we find the skeletal muscles, which are voluntary in control. Voluntarily you can contract them and relax. They are voluntary muscles, skeletal muscles. And in the heart wall, in the middle layer, which we call the myocardium, cardiac muscles present. Only in the myocardium, cardiac muscles are available. And in some internal organs, we find smooth muscles. Now, for an instance, in the wall of the urinary bladder, smooth muscles available. If I asked you to contract your urinary bladder, can you contract your urinary bladder, children? Give a try. Literally, you can't. And try to contract your wombs. Try to contract the muscles present in your blood vessels. You can't because they are smooth muscles. You know that smooth muscles are involuntary muscles. Okay? Right. This myocardium consists of cardiac muscles which are highly dependent on oxygen. I'm going back to the smart board. Therefore, there should be a very rich blood supply for the heart muscles and the heart wall. This oxygen and nutrient requirement is supplied by coronary arteries. Here, the vessels you see are the coronary arteries. Here, see how the coronary arteries are. The right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. Right. So here, this is the right coronary artery and the branches. This is the left coronary artery. So these are responsible for supplying oxygen-rich, nutrient-rich blood to the heart wall. This heart is a very active organ. It is functioning always throughout your lifetime. It pumps blood and circulates blood. The pressure generated by the contraction of the heart is responsible for the circulation of blood in your vasculature. So here, these are the coronary arteries which provide the blood supply to the heart wall. Now, we are getting the background knowledge before getting an idea about a heart attack or a myocardial infarction. Now, due to various reasons, these coronary arteries may get obstructed, children. There are several possible reasons. The commonest reason is what you see now. Fatty deposits are developed in the arterial walls. As you see here in yellow color, the fatty deposits, we call this atherosclerotic plaque. So there are various reasons for the development of fatty deposits in coronary vessels. They include aging, that is one, and even the gender can be a risk factor. What do you think, children? The cardiac diseases are more common in males or females? As you think, cardiac diseases are more common in males or females, children? I'm getting answers, males, females, both. Bigger body, so higher heart pressure, various ideas, okay. YouTube children? Zoom children mainly vote for males. What about the YouTube children? Quickly respond. Some say males. Yes. Comparatively, cardiac diseases are more common in males, children. Cardiac diseases are highly prevalent comparatively in males. So, male gender is also a risk factor for cardiac diseases, and with aging, there's a high risk of developing atherosclerotic plaque, these fatty deposits, and your food pattern. If you are a heavy consumer of saturated fat. What is saturated fat, children? You may have heard of saturated fat and unsaturated fat. What's the difference between the two? Just if you take a skin fold from your tummy, just take a skin fold from the tummy, you feel it thick and some may be feeling jelly-like. That is saturated fat. That is saturated fat. Animal fat is saturated fat. Saturated fat is a semi-solid jelly-like in room temperature. Whereas unsaturated fats are the oils, plant oils like, tell me a few examples, children. Give me some examples for unsaturated fats. Coconut oil, yes, correct. Just oil won't do, you have to specify. Butter is saturated fat. I'm asking examples for unsaturated fats. I need answers in both Zoom webinar and YouTube. Cinnamon oil, sunflower oil, olive oil, okay, vegetable oils, correct. These various kinds of oils extracted from plants especially are unsaturated fats. Comparatively, they are more healthy with regards to the cardiac health. But saturated fats, especially when they are heavily consumed and if you live a very inactive lifestyle, then there's a risk of developing cardiac diseases leading to atherosclerosis. As you see here, the fatty deposits are being developed. These are the ones. We call this condition atherosclerosis. How do we call it, children? Everybody, study with me. How do we call this particular condition in which fatty deposits are developed in coronary vessels? That is called atherosclerosis in medicine. Okay? So the risk factors, as I said, aging is a risk factor, male gender is a risk factor, and high consumption of saturated fats. If you live a very sedentary, exerciseless, inactive lifestyle, then the mental stress also can contribute to this, and smoking and alcoholism like bad habits can contribute. So due to those reasons, there can be fatty deposits developed in coronary vessels. And when such a fatty deposit develops there, when the coronary vessel gets obstructed, that affects the smooth flow of blood. Usually there's a smooth flow of blood in these vessels, but when there's a blockage, the blood flow will not be smooth anymore in the region and turbulence will occur. With that turbulence, the fragile cells like platelets will collide with the vessel wall and they rupture, and the platelets contain the clotting factors. The chemicals which trigger the blood clotting process are available in these thrombocytes or the platelets, and with the release of these chemicals, a blood clot will be developed in the region. Okay, now there's a blood clot developed in the coronary vessel. We call this condition as coronary thrombosis. Here. If there's a blockage due to a blood clot, now see there's a blood clot developed here. When a blood clot develops in a sound blood vessel, that means untraumatized, uninjured blood vessel, we call it a thrombus. Since this happens in the coronary vessel, we can call it coronary thrombosis. This is like the most common reason for the myocardial infarction or heart attack. As I explained you previously, atherosclerosis occurs, the plaque develops, fatty deposits develop in blood vessels, as I explained with the video, and then that can lead to formation of blood clots. A blood clot in a sound vessel is called a thrombus. And this particular condition where blood clots are developed in coronary arteries is called coronary thrombosis. So when a blood vessel is obstructed by a thrombus, the blood supply to a particular region will be affected. And the cells of this region will start to die. As there's no sufficient oxygen and nutrient supply to the region, now the myocardium especially starts to die. That is what we call the myocardial infarction or the MI. Infarction means death. The meaning of word infarction is death, children. As the death occurs in the myocardial cells, we call it myocardial infarction. That is what we normally call a heart attack. Let's see what will be the consequence of this, the death of the myocardium. Okay? Right. Let's go back with the video. So there's a blood clot here obstructing the coronary artery. This is the most common reason for cardiac arrest, but there are some other reasons as well in which the coronary arteries may spontaneously contract. There are certain reasons like exhaustion, and certain drugs may induce that, and the coronary artery dissection may cause a formation of blood clot, but these are out of syllabus. Only the coronary thrombosis is to be studied in our syllabus. So whatever the reason, final effect is the death of the cells of the myocardium, as you see here. With the discoloration of this region, what they show is the death of the cells in this particular region. What is the medical term for the death of cells, children? Quickly reply in the chat. Infarction. Stroke is a different story, but when the same happens in the brain, we call it stroke. A similar phenomenon to myocardial infarction may occur in the brain as well. Then we call it a stroke. So here, the medical term for the death of cells, as I said previously, is infarction. As the cells are dying in the myocardium, we call it myocardial infarction. Then, what is the consequence of this, children? That is, let's see to the video. Okay, right. And there's a characteristic pain experienced at a time like this. How do we call it? You can see it on the screen. Everybody study with me, okay? I want your active answers, and I want you to study with me rather than just watching and listening. Yeah, we call it angina pain. You got to memorize these terms. YouTube children, I can't see your answers now. How do we call this particular pain? It's shown on the screen as well. That is called angina pain. Okay? And you may share the link of the YouTube live and the Zoom with your friends in your groups so that they also can join with this important discussion. Right, here. So share the link with your best friend. So that they can also get the experience of a quality biology class. Okay, so the pain is called angina pain, and usually the heart attack or the myocardial infarction is accompanied with these as well: breathlessness, dizziness, sweating, excessive sweating occurs, and vomitishness, nausea are some common experiences of patients who get a heart attack. So the problem with this, I'll go back to the smart board. The problem with these children, these are the treatments available for this condition shown here. So here, as we saw, when a particular part of the myocardium is dead due to lack of oxygen, the heart loses its rhythm. The rhythm of the cardiac activity is very important for efficient pumping of blood. So when the heart loses the rhythm due to the death of certain regions of its wall, it's no longer an effective pump. It ceases to be an effective pump. Therefore, the pressure is not generated efficiently and the blood circulation is impaired, and especially when the vital organs like brain is not receiving sufficient amount of blood in the needed rate, that can cause the death of cells in the brain as well, or in other words, organ failure will occur if blood is not pumped to those particular organs efficiently. So that can lead to the death of the person in a myocardial infarction. This is a deadly condition. Therefore, immediately we have to address the condition, and there are certain temporary measures that we can even practice at home. In blood circulatory system lesson in unit 5, I'll teach you how to follow. We call it cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation is the term. What we are supposed to do in a cardiac arrest, if a person collapses down with a cardiac arrest, there should be certain first aid that we can give. So being bio students, you should be aware of this, because you are the children to be doctors. So not only doctors, even you can do something at a time like that. Just assume that if there's a family emergency, rather than just watching it, you can do something, and with some simple steps you can save the lives of people. I'll teach you what to do and how to do that in the lesson unit 5 when we discuss cardiovascular system or the blood circulatory system lesson. Then let's see to what are the treatments available for coronary obstructions. Here you can see one treatment, children. This is what we call coronary angioplasty, as you can see on the screen. In this method, what we do is we send a guide wire to the obstructed vessel with a balloon, and then we inflate the balloon. With that, the obstructed vessel is dilated, but it may collapse down again in case, if this risk of collapsing of the vessel again once the balloon is removed. Therefore, we have to place a permanent metal device which we call the stent. Here, the metal mesh you see here is the stent. So the plan is the placement of the stent there. That will keep the vessel dilated and restore the blood supply. And another option available, as you can see here, is grafting a blood vessel. To bypass the obstruction, commonly we call it bypass surgery, you may have heard it. The technical term is coronary artery bypass grafting. So this is the grafted vessel. The obstruction is bypassed by the grafted vessel. It's a simple strategy. It's like when the road is blocked due to construction or some other work, the police will provide you a bypass road, something like that. Since the blood vessel is obstructed with maybe fatty deposits or calcite, even calcium deposits in blood vessels. So when there's such an obstruction, a simple strategy we can use is we can provide an alternative path for the blood flow. That is by grafting another vessel which is also obtained from the same person. Okay, probably from the leg. This vessel is taken, or sometimes some other options are also tried. So by bypassing the obstruction, the blood flow can be restored. With that, the cardiac functioning will be back to normal. Then, if we see to how the we are in the lesson Introduction to Biology. So first what I'm trying to do here is to raise your curiosity, because the attitudes of children should be changed in the correct way. Anybody can teach. There are so many teachers. Anybody can teach, but literally a teacher with a vision can change the mindset of children and give them some inspiration and raise their curiosity. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to make you want to learn. Because when the children are made that way, they can even continue their education by themselves. So the most important thing is you should like the subjects. So in the Introduction to Biology lesson, what I'm trying to do here is to give you the interest to the subject. So with that, actually, once you are interested in something, you will engage in it. Once you engage in that, you master that. I mean, your skill develops. When you are skillful in that, then you like it further. When you like it further, you will further engage in that work. And then that will make you further skillful. So that's how the cycle continues. Therefore, we need to get into the business at the correct track, correct point. So first you need to develop the likeness to the three subjects. So since you are having a lot of free time these days, what you can do is you can watch documentary program, or maybe you can read some books about interesting things in the three subjects that you learn. Biology, physics, chemistry are your main three subjects. So you can read about, let's say these days people are mostly talking about the nuclear power. So it's related to physics and chemistry both. So you can read about nuclear power, nuclear weapons, not because they are in our syllabus. At this stage, you need not to limit yourself, because it's very beginning. When you proceed, when you advance in the syllabus, you will have to stick to the syllabus content. But in the early stage, since this is the very beginning of your A-level journey, you can read about these interesting things about maybe evolution, maybe extinction of organisms, maybe some de-extinction process, or maybe nuclear weapons or nuclear energy. So by those, you will develop some interest towards the subject that will help you to continue this work. That's what I'm trying to do here in the introductory lecture. Okay. This video is about the bypass surgery. Just have a look.
In your coronary vessel. To treat that, you have two possible ways.
Children?
One is to put a stent and push that narrowing or stenosis open. Another option is to actually bypass it. And in coronary artery bypass surgery, what we do is we bypass that blockage. We leave that blockage in place, but we go beyond that
Cardiothoracic
blockage and
surgeons
feed that
perform.
vessel
Some of you may be
with a new
targeting to
inlet
become
for
cardiothoracic surgeons.
a fresh blood supply.
There are three major blood vessels that supply blood to the heart. The left coronary artery, which divides into two major branches, and then the right coronary artery. And patients can develop blockages in those arteries that lead to heart disease. Coronary bypass surgery is utilizing either a vein or an artery to bypass the blockages. And the bypasses are usually placed in a location that is far beyond the blockage, thereby not only treating the blockage that's occurring at present, but also treating future blockages for most patients.
You do as many bypasses as necessary to achieve what's called a complete revascularization, meaning that you have bypassed every single significant or sizable vessel to all major territories of the heart.
Cleveland Clinic, for the most part, invented coronary bypass surgery back in the 1960s. Mason Sones was a cardiologist who happened upon coronary angiography and developed really the first coronary angiogram. And together with his surgical colleague, Rene Favillaro, they worked and were able to do the first coronary bypass. And coronary bypass surgery had a tremendous history here at the Cleveland Clinic from the early 1970s. We did far more coronary bypass surgeries here than anywhere else in the world. Coronary artery bypass surgery is certainly the most common operation that heart surgeons perform, and it's actually the most common operation among heart surgery programs in the country. But that doesn't mean that it's the same operation for every patient. Every patient needs a tailored approach to coronary revascularization. So there are multiple approaches for coronary artery bypass surgery. The standard approach is utilizing a full sternotomy, which is a full splitting of the sternum. And the surgery can be performed either utilizing the heart-lung machine or what's called off-pump technique, and thereby we use stabilizers to stabilize portions of the heart to do the bypasses we need to do. We can also perform minimally invasive coronary bypass surgery. A lot of those can be performed through a very small incision between the ribs.
We never want to compromise quality for cosmetics, because our objective is not to have a perfect immediate outcome. Our objective is to have long-term success.
When we look at performing bypass surgery, we use either the mammary artery, a radial artery from the arm, or a portion of the saphenous vein from the leg. Now, each of these bypasses lasts a certain length of time. They don't last forever. The mammary artery by far lasts the longest. It's one of the only arteries in the body that really does not develop atherosclerosis. So multi-arterial grafting is by far the best strategy for performing coronary artery bypasses for patients because it gives the most long-lasting effect.
Not only do we have high volume cardiac surgery practice, but the patients we get here are very high-risk patients. We accept patients from all over the country, in fact from all over the world. Many of them have seen 1, 2, or more surgeons that have declined to offer those patients surgery because of their high risk. And the surgeons here are very comfortable dealing with those patients.
The Cleveland Clinic has long been a leader in reoperative coronary artery bypass surgery, that is, new coronary bypasses in someone who's had bypass surgery before. We do the largest number of those cases yearly than any other center.
What we do to achieve excellent results is having a great team approach. We have excellent surgeons, we have excellent support, and we use grafts and techniques that ensure that the patient will have not only excellent short-term outcomes and very low complication rate, but also excellent long-term results.
I think a lot of patients before heart surgery don't actually fully understand how poorly they feel. And what's rewarding is seeing them return to what they were, seeing them really be able to enjoy life again.
Okay, now let's make a small note regarding myocardial infarction. Start writing, children. Start the subtopic. This comes under the main topic that we already started, understanding diseases and causes. We have given some examples regarding the communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Let's proceed. The note, contain the note, children. Next subtopic, myocardial infarction. Subtopic, myocardial infarction. Subtopic, myocardial infarction. So while I'm giving the note, I'll just play, in the background, I'll play a video of a heart transplantation. Hope you will like it. While you are reading the note, we are not supposed to study how to perform a heart transplantation, but just for your curiosity, I'll play that. While writing the note, start the topic, myocardial infarction. Right. This is how really a heart transplantation is done, as you see on the screen. This is when the thoracic wall is opened. You can see the beating of the heart. Okay. Some of you may be interested and hope that it's not uncomfortable for you to watch a surgery, because you are to become medical professionals, so you deal with these. So better to have an early exposure, then that will help you to get an understanding whether this field suits you as well. This is how really a heart transplantation is done. What you see here is how the heart is being removed from the body actually. In a heart transplantation, when the heart fails to pump blood sufficiently as the final option, another person's heart can be transplanted. So this is separation of the heart from the patient that you see. Okay, but anyway, we are supposed to write the note about myocardial infarction. Just to raise the curiosity only, I played this video. So let's complete the note. Our topic is myocardial infarction. Under that, write the note. Heart is a very active organ. Heart is a very active organ which serves as the pumping device. Heart is a very active organ which serves as the pumping device in the circulatory system. Heart is a very active organ which serves as the pumping device of the circulatory system. Right, in the video you can see the removal of the heart. Now that person is heartless. See the thoracic cavity without the heart. And now the new heart should be transplanted there. So they have started the work, the suturing work. That's why I said that the surgeon should have very precise hands, because careful control of the things is very necessary if you want to become a successful surgeon. What you are seeing now is the suturing work. The new heart, which is placed in the thoracic cavity, is being connected to the blood vessels of the patient. The suturing is done by the surgeon. Hope this is interesting to you. Okay, let's continue the note. We said that heart is a very active organ and serves as the pumping device in the circulatory system. Coronary arteries, continue the note, coronary arteries are responsible, coronary arteries are responsible, coronary arteries are responsible for supplying blood to the heart wall. Coronary arteries are responsible for supplying blood to the heart wall. Coronary arteries are responsible for supplying blood to the heart wall. Due to certain reasons, such coronary arteries, such coronary arteries may get obstructed. Coronary arteries may get obstructed by fatty deposits. Coronary arteries may get obstructed by fatty deposits. Coronary arteries may get obstructed by fatty deposits. And this condition is referred to as atherosclerosis, write in red, atherosclerosis, ATHEROSCLEROSIS. This condition is referred to as, write in red, atherosclerosis, 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 atherosclerosis. This condition is referred to as atherosclerosis. Continue, full stop and continue. Due to atherosclerosis, blood clots can be developed in coronary arteries. Due to atherosclerosis, blood clots can be developed. Blood clots can be developed in coronary arteries. This condition is called as coronary thrombosis. This condition is known as coronary thrombosis, CORONARY coronary, C-O-R-O-N-A-R-Y, coronary thrombosis, T-H-R-O-M-B-O-S-I-S, thrombosis, T-H-R-O-M-B-O-S-I-S. We said atherosclerosis may lead to or can cause obstruction of coronary arteries. This condition is called as coronary thrombosis. As a result of this, as a result of this, blood supply to the heart wall, as a result of this, blood supply to the heart wall, as a result of this, blood supply to the heart wall is impaired. That means affected. Blood supply to the heart wall is impaired, thereby causing the death of myocardial cells, thereby causing death of myocardial cells, thereby causing the death of myocardial cells. Just something regarding the video now. The surgery is being completed. What is this? The yellow color stuff you see, children, surrounding the heart? There's some yellow color stuff you can see. That is fat. That is saturated fat. For the protection of internal organs, as you see here, there are fatty covers. Previously, we talked about saturated fat in your tummy region. So here you can see the saturated fat protecting the heart. When there's fat cover surrounding the visceral organs, internal organs, it can protect the organ from shock. Fat is a good shock absorber. Right, so let's continue the note. We said thereby causing the death of the cells of myocardium. This condition is called, right in red, myocardial infarction. This condition is called myocardial infarction. This condition is called myocardial infarction. This condition is called myocardial, M-Y-O-C-A-R-D-I-A-L, myocardial infarction, I-N-F-A-R-C-T-I-O-N, myocardial infarction, or a heart attack. Myocardial infarction or a heart attack. Myocardial infarction or a heart attack. This condition is called a myocardial infarction or a heart attack. In a heart attack, heart may fail to serve as an effective pump. In a heart attack, heart may fail to serve as an effective pump. In a heart attack, heart may fail to serve as an effective pump. Thereby reducing the blood supply to vital organs like brain. Thereby reducing the blood supply to vital organs. Thereby reducing the blood supply to vital organs like the brain. Thereby reducing the blood supply to vital organs like the brain, which may cause the death of the individual. which may cause the death of the individual. So sometimes the myocardial infarction can lead to the death of the person. Next line, next point. Coronary obstructions are surgically managed by following two methods commonly. Coronary obstructions are surgically managed. Coronary obstructions are surgically managed. Coronary obstructions are surgically managed by following methods commonly. Number one, coronary angioplasty. Number one, coronary angioplasty. Coronary, C-O-R-O-N-A-R-Y. Angioplasty, A-N-G-I-O-P-L-A-S-T-Y. Coronary angioplasty, A-N-G-I-O-P-L-A-S-T-Y. Describe it further. A stent is placed in the obstructed vessel. A stent is placed. A stent is placed. A stent is placed. A stent is placed in the obstructed vessel to restore the blood supply. A stent is placed in the obstructed vessel to restore the blood supply. That is coronary angioplasty. Then number two, coronary artery bypass grafting. Number two, coronary artery bypass grafting. Number two, coronary artery bypass grafting. Describe it further. Coronary artery bypass grafting. Describe it further. A vessel is grafted. A vessel is grafted. A vessel is grafted to bypass the obstruction. A vessel is grafted to bypass the obstruction. Okay, so that's a brief account regarding myocardial infarction and some of the treatments, especially surgical managements of coronary obstructions. Here, the heart transplantation work is reaching the end. The most challenging work here, children, even after the heart transplantation, once the heart is transplanted, it should work, right? Currently, it's not beating, see? Currently, circulation is handled by a machine. It's an excellent work. Okay. Now the blood flow is sent through the heart, and you can see the heart, the newly transplanted heart started beating. So this is what we call a heart transplantation. Suturing is nicely done. You can see that there's no any bleeding. Bleeding is arrested. Okay, so that's just an idea about a heart transplantation. Right, any questions or doubts if you have regarding what we discussed? In the chat you can ask if you have any doubts or questions. So how we call coronary arteries in Sinhala? We call them Kiritaka Damani. So what is the meaning of bypass? Maga harima. දැන් පාරක් බ්ලොක් වෙලා තියෙනකොට අපි ඒක මග ඇරලා වෙන අතුරු පාරක යන්නේ ඒ වගේ වැඩක්. When the blood vessel is obstructed, we bypass it. What is angina? That is the pain, the characteristic pain that you feel from the chest region during a heart attack is called angina pain. Heart transplantation, I just showed you for your interest only, but myocardial infarction, that is a question in the exam. Cardiac arrest and heart attack can be considered as the same in certain terms. What is applied at last? That's a tissue glue. Won't the person die if the heart is taken out? No, because the circulation is managed by a machine during that time. YouTube children, if you have doubts, questions, you can ask. Yeah, there are some more questions, LDL, HDL, SC, many things. So I'll stop the discussion here. Just I wanted to give you some idea. Right, let's move on with the next topic, children. What is that glue called? It's tissue glue. Right, let's move on with the next, children. Let's wind up the discussion about tissues and let's start the discussion about in page number 8, this ultrasound thing is an additional reading for you. Let's read the next topic in the syllabus. Solving some legal and ethical issues is our next topic. Read, children. Solving some legal and ethical issues. Knowledge and application of biological concepts is important in solving some legal issues such as parentage testing in criminal investigations and to solve immigration disputes. DNA fingerprinting is used in above circumstances. Right, what do you know about DNA fingerprinting, children? What do you know about DNA fingerprinting? Is it the normal fingerprint that we use in the phone or in certain electronic devices? Or is it different, children? DNA fingerprint is totally a different concept. Okay? Now here, you can see some banding patterns. Dark and light bands alternating. Can you see? Left side is just a diagram, but the right side one, I'll go to the smart board. See here? This banding pattern is what we call a DNA fingerprint. Okay? So here you can see a few DNA fingerprints, real ones. These are real DNA fingerprints. This is a DNA fingerprint obtained from a blood stain. These are DNA fingerprints of some other people. Let's get some idea about what is this DNA fingerprinting technology. Look at here. This technology is very important in criminal investigation. And in solving parentage disputes also, this is going to be very important and critical. Assume that when you are having a walk in the evening, you find a dead body beside the road. Okay? You find a dead body beside the road, and you find some blood stains here. A few drops of blood found nearby. Now you want to investigate this case in order to find out the murderer. In that, you can use DNA fingerprinting technology. It is the most reliable method available. It's the most reliable method available so far to prove the identity of an individual. Okay, it's the most reliable method available so far to prove the identity of an individual. So what we do in DNA fingerprinting work, we need to obtain DNA from cells. That is called DNA isolation. Those will be discussed in Unit 7 in detail. I'm just giving you some briefing of how to prepare a DNA fingerprint, what is the baseline technology in this only. So from cells, whatever the sample you get, maybe blood cells, maybe sperms in a rape case, maybe some other skin cells or whatever the cells you find, you have to extract DNA from the cells first. There are methods to do that. So those are DNA extracted from cells. In the next stage, you cut DNA into fragments. DNA is cut into small fragments in the next stage. How to cut DNA, children? කොහොමද DNA කපන්නේ? මාළු ලෑල්ලකට දාලා අර මාළු කපනවා වගේ ටොට් 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 ගාලා කපනවාද? Is that the way? No. There are particular enzymes called restriction endonucleases. There are certain enzymes, it's an enzymatic cleavage done, okay, not with a knife or something. Restriction endonucleases are used in cutting DNA into fragments, and then there's another method called agarose gel electrophoresis that uses an electrical field and a gel block, and DNA is made running in the gel block by creating an electric field. Children, what is the charge of DNA? Tell me, is DNA neutral, positively charged, or negatively charged? What is your idea? Is DNA negatively charged, positively charged, or neutral? What do you think? Mostly I got positive and neutral. YouTube live, children, what's your idea? Quickly respond. Most of your answers are wrong, children. Now, can you remember the structure of DNA? In O levels, you have learned. In DNA, what is the structural unit? Tell me, what is the structural unit of DNA? Nucleotides. What are the three components of nucleotides? Correct, you said correct, nucleotides, yes. What are the three components of nucleotides? What I'm trying to show you is you knew the answer. Here comes the answer. Phosphate group is available. Sugars, bases, and phosphate groups, right? How is the charge of phosphate groups? That's how you have to think. How is the charge of phosphate group, children? Positive or negative? How is the charge of phosphate group? Negative. Phosphate groups are negatively charged. Therefore, even DNA, like nucleic acids, are negative in their charge. I'll go back to the whiteboard. So here, these DNA fragments are made to run in a gel block by providing an electrical field. Since DNA is negatively charged, DNA fragments will move towards the positively charged electrode, the anode. So by that mean, actually we separate DNA according to their size. The DNA fragments are separated according to their size. This is just a simple explanation, children, till we do this discussion in detail in Unit 7, Molecular Biology. So simply, I may call this DNA fragment pattern you get after separation of them according to their size can be considered as the DNA fingerprint. There are some more steps to be completed. I mean, using autoradiography of the X-ray photograph has to be taken. We'll just forget those stuff. Just consider that these DNA fragments are separated according to their size. Then you get a certain banding pattern. Once the photograph is taken of DNA, there are certain methods of doing that. Then you get a banding pattern. That banding pattern, as you see the real picture here, is what you call the DNA fingerprint. So what we have done is DNA is first isolated, then DNA is cleaved using enzymes, cut into pieces, fragments, and then the fragments are separated according to their size and photographs are taken after the separation. So these dark bands indicate the places where the DNA fragments are present. So the banding pattern you get is the DNA fingerprint. So it's a simple idea what really a DNA fingerprint is. Now, as I said, from the blood stain, we take a DNA fingerprint. And then we can take a DNA fingerprint from the dead person. If the two DNA fingerprints tally, if they match, if they are similar, then we don't have any clue. Because that sample of blood or whatever the tissue we found from the crime scene belongs to the victim. Then we don't have any clue to continue our investigations. But in case if this DNA fingerprints do not tally, the DNA fingerprint of the blood stain and the DNA fingerprint that you get from the victim, if they do not tally, that means the sample you found is somebody else's DNA. Therefore, then what we can do is, if we have suspects, we can take cells of them and prepare the DNA fingerprint. So this is such a work done, a true case. This is the first suspect, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. This is the DNA fingerprint obtained from the blood sample. So tell me, from left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 suspects whose DNA fingerprint is matching with the DNA fingerprint of the blood stain children. Yes, your answers are correct. It's the third. It's a third. That is a third. So what does that mean? What's our conclusion, children? What's our conclusion? He is the suspect, says he is the criminal who involved. We don't know exactly. Don't be too early. It's too early to take the conclusion that way. What we can say is that tissue sample belongs to this person. That's only we can say. We don't know what really happened. Maybe there was a fight there and this person also bled and left. We don't know what really happened. So what we can confirm as biologists is this particular sample you found from the crime scene belongs to this third person or the third suspect. Now he can't deny, he can't reject that, no, this is not my sample, this is not my DNA. I was in, Ratnapura or Mathura that day. That is an accepted evidence by the courts. Okay, and that is the most reliable method of proving the identity of an individual as well, children. And because of this technology, a lot of innocent people were saved actually. Otherwise, in the legal system, sometimes we have to take the conclusions without proper information. Maybe some innocent people can be jailed or sentenced to death even in certain countries. Therefore, the technology is very important in taking very accurate decisions in the legal system also. Now, once this DNA fingerprinting technology was introduced by Alex Jeffrey in a particular region of US, they did a survey by checking the people, those who were already in the jail. They kind of did a rework on their judgments. And many were found not guilty really. I mean, some innocent people were jailed. And there was one particular case in which there was this man close to 60 or 55 years old who was in the jail for about 30 years. Okay? He had been jailed in his 20s for a rape case. And then when this technology developed in the world, after about 35 years, when his case was reassessed, they found that he is innocent. That person was innocent. He was not the person, he was not the rapist. But unfortunately, see, the legal system sometimes make such wrong decisions. That's why the supportive work in making a decision has to be very accurate. So DNA fingerprinting has come to that critical position in supporting even the legal system in making their judgments accurate. Okay, so that's about DNA fingerprinting. And we read that in identifying the parents, let's say to identify the father of a particular child, we can use DNA fingerprinting. What is the similarity between the father's DNA fingerprint and the baby's DNA fingerprint? Are they identical? Are they identical, children? Quickly respond. When we use the DNA fingerprinting technology to identify a father of a child, what is the rationale there? The two DNA fingerprints are not identical. Okay? Father's DNA fingerprint is not identical to the baby's DNA fingerprint, but there are more similarities. Okay? Closer the blood relationship, more similarities can be found in DNA fingerprints. For an instance, let's say between mother and the children, father and the children. There are a lot of similarities in their DNA fingerprints. And even between the siblings, there are a lot of similarities in their DNA fingerprints. But not that the DNA fingerprint of the father and the child or the mother and the child be identical, okay? They are different. Can the DNA fingerprint of two individuals be identical, children? Can the DNA fingerprints of two individuals in this world be identical? Yes, it's possible. That's in monozygotic twins or the identical twins. Monozygotic or identical twins have identical DNA fingerprint because they are genetically identical. Mostly they are identical. So when the DNA fingerprint is obtained from their samples of DNA, even that appears identical. So except identical twins or monozygotic twins, the twins who develop from the same zygote, monozygotic, identical twins. Except that instance, in all the instances, the DNA fingerprints of two individuals will be different. Therefore, we can use it as a very strong evidence to prove the identity of an individual. Is it clear? Right. Then, in page number 9 of the TUT, in page number 9, there's this additional discussion because some of you are interested in becoming doctors and there are some children who may be interested in becoming DNA scientists. Did I discuss this page number 9, the Game of Thrones direwolves de-extinction program? Did we watch that video, children? Did we watch a video about the de-extinction of direwolves? Did I explain? I'm getting yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Not in the live streaming classes that we conducted on Tuesday and Thursday. I mean, in the Wednesday class, did I explain this de-extinction process? Yes, we did. Maybe the children, those who say no, were absent in the very first day. That video is available in the YouTube, my YouTube channel, Charitha Munasinghe YouTube channel. So those who missed it can watch that first introductory lecture. In that I have explained about the de-extinction program. De-extinction means the extinct organisms are brought back to the world. So using the DNA available in fossils of living organisms, we can kind of recreate them. Okay? Right. So then let's move on with the next topic. Page number 10, sustainable use and management of natural resources. Those who missed this discussion about the de-extinction program of direwolves, you can watch the first day lecture. It's available in Charitha Munasinghe YouTube channel. Right. So let's talk about the natural resources. These days, you can see the importance of natural resources, see how the conflicts are developed between countries, like now the secret agenda behind US strike on Iran is not this, other things that they show to the world. The real reasons include, there are many reasons actually. Some major reasons include the natural resources available in Iran, children. Iran is very rich in certain resources like oil and gas, natural gas. In Iran, actually, the largest natural gas reserve is available. Recently, it was attacked by Israel missiles. So the natural resources are that critical, and people are even fighting, even countries are fighting with each other for the ownership of natural resources. Okay, read everybody. Let's read this content in page number 10. Sustainable use and management of natural resources and environment. Okay. You can see it on the screen, and it's there in the tute in page number 10. Read everybody. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy found naturally, which are used in everyday life and for economic development. That is the definition, children. In the notebook, start the next topic: sustainable use and management of natural resources and environment. Sustainable use and management of natural resources and environment. Sustainable use and management of natural resources and environment. Write the definition of natural resources in red. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy found naturally that. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy found naturally, which are used in everyday life and for economic development. Write the definition in red, children. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy found naturally, which are used in everyday life and for economic development. Natural resources are sources of materials and energy found naturally, which are used in everyday life and for economic development. Next line, usual color. Fossil fuel. Usual color, fossil fuel. Water. Fossil fuel, water, soil, air, minerals, metals, etc. are some examples for non-living natural resources. 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 Next line, next point. Animal species, plants and microorganisms. Animal species, plants and microorganisms. Animal species, plants and microorganisms are some examples for living natural resources. Are some examples for living natural resources. Okay? Right, let's continue reading. First, we read the definition of natural resources and we mentioned some examples. Continue reading. These natural resources are limited on Earth due to the increase of growth rate of human population. Overuse of natural resources is taking place. It causes threat of depletion of natural resources. Due to overexploitation of natural resources, various environmental problems arise, such as environmental pollution, loss of biodiversity, desertification, that is transformation of fertile lands into deserts. Hence, to overcome the above problems, management of natural resources and environment should be practiced. Knowledge of biology is useful to bring about remedies for above problems. Right, continue your note, children. Continue writing. Due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, natural resources are being overexploited at present. Natural resources are being overexploited at present. Natural resources are being overexploited at present. Due to the uncontrolled growth of the human population, natural resources are being overexploited at present, which has created various environmental problems, such as which has created various environmental problems, such as which has created various environmental problems, such as number one, environmental pollution. Number one, environmental pollution. Number two, loss of biodiversity. Number two, loss of biodiversity. Number 3, desertification. Number 3, desertification. Number 3, desertification. Right. Then let's move to the next topic. Sustainable food production. These are introductory work for these topics. Let's read them, children. Next topic is sustainable food production. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. That's the definition. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. The current human population is about 7 billion. Actually, it has exceeded 7 billion by now. It's more than 8 billion even now. But the resource book is not updated yet. The value you got to remember is the resource book value, which is given as 7 billion. And expected to be doubled in less than 40 years. Therefore, the survival of human beings, sustainable food production is necessary. To maintain sustainable food production, following methods can be applied, which are based on knowledge in biology. Read them, children. Number 1, production of high-yielding varieties of plants and animals. Number 2, production of disease-resistant varieties of plants and animals. Number 3, to improve the post-harvest technological methods. Right, in the notebook, write. In the notebook, start the next topic, sustainable food production. Write the definition in red. The first sentence given is the definition. Let's write that in red. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. Write in red. Definition should be written in red, children. Here, this class is right now conducted via Zoom, and a YouTube live is also done parallel to that. But next week, there won't be a YouTube live, so the children have to register with CCG online.lk website, and once you register yourself in the site, then you can join with the Zoom webinar only from next week. Right. Okay. That's the definition. At the end of the class, we'll display the information, how to register and how to be a part of the best English medium online biology class of the country. And share this with your friends and inform them that this is, a high-tech, a comprehensive biology class, online biology class is done at CCG online, Mahagedara. Pass the message to your colleagues. Right, okay. Hope you have written the definition by now. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. Next point. Next point. Following methods can be used. Following methods can be used to maintain sustainable food production. Following methods can be used to maintain sustainable food production. Number 1, production of high yielding varieties of plants and animals. Production of high yielding varieties of plants and animals. Production of high yielding varieties of plants and animals. Children, we can improve the existing organisms, maybe crop plants or the animals, to give us a more harvest, high yield. Maybe the breeding methods can be used to improve their harvest, improve their production or the yield, or else even genetic modification, genetically modified organisms, genetic manipulation of them can be done so that the humans are benefited. Our objective in genetic modification of other organisms is to get the benefits for the mankind. We do not focus on their genetic fitness actually. Therefore, most of these breeding methods that we follow at present are reducing the genetic fitness of those species, but what we want is the benefits that we get from them. Production of high yielding varieties of plants and animals. Now, for an example, the milk production can be increased, the meat production can be increased. In plants, the harvest can be increased by improving the genetics of the existing species. Number 2, production of disease-resistant varieties of plants and animals. Production of disease-resistant varieties of plants and animals. Especially in weed plants, we can see high resistance, which is given by certain important genes present in them. So, we can transfer those genes to crop plants to get that resistance in crop plants. Number 2, production of disease-resistant varieties of plants and animals. Number 3, improve the post-harvest technological methods. Improve the post-harvest technological methods. Children, what is post-harvest technology? What's meant by post-harvest technology? From the point of harvesting till the point of consumption, we process and handle food in various ways. So all the technological methods that we use during that stage comes under post-harvest technology. Now, for an instance, the cleaning of the food, the harvest, the transportation, the packaging, the storage, all these come under post-harvest technology. In countries like Sri Lanka, in South Asian countries like Sri Lanka and some other parts of the world too, we can see a significant percentage of the harvest, the production is wasted at the end. Sometimes it exceeds even 10-20% of the harvest is wasted. One of the reasons for that is the poor post-harvest technology that they imply. For an instance, if we don't have the proper infrastructure for the storage, the harvest will be wasted. We need to have good storage facilities, and also we need good transportation. Because during transport, food is damaged. You may have seen how vegetables, fruits are transported. කොළඹට එන ලොරි දැකලා ඇතිනේ නේද? තක්කාලි ඔය ඔක්කොම එළවලු පළතුරු දාගෙන the way that they travel, and you know how the road conditions in Sri Lanka as well. Lot of ups and downs in the way, in the journey to Colombo or to other areas. So finally, by the time that these vegetables or the fruits reaching Colombo, let's say fruits, it's not just fruit, it's the fruit salad available. Hari. තැලිලා යටින් අන්නාසි කෙසෙල් අඹව තැලිලා යටින් salad එක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ නේද? So directly you can, sell the salad rather than selling the fruits. See the high wastage, children? Don't forget that it is the money of people. That is the time of people. That is the effort of people which is being wasted due to poor post-harvest technology. If we don't have the proper storage facilities, food will be wasted. Meat, fish like food especially. The refrigeration, the freezers, those are needed in the standard way. And when we transport food, we need to use the standard methods. So by improving the post-harvest technology, mainly we can minimize the wastage rather than improving the production. The post-harvest technology is focusing, minimizing the wastage. Right, so that's enough about sustainable food production as an introduction. Then let's move on with the next topic. Understanding plant life. Read everybody. Plants are the primary producers in the world. All the animals depend directly or indirectly on plants. Therefore, understanding plant life is important. As the time passes, human population increases, hence the productivity must be increased. Therefore, understanding plant biology is essential for producing high-yielding plants, disease-resistant plants, etc. It's not a strong topic. Right, let's move on with the next topic, the nature and the organizational patterns of the living world. In the notebook, we mentioned finally about the sustainable food production and the methods used in that. No need of a note for understanding plant life. Right, let's move on with the next topic, the nature and the organizational patterns of living. Start reading. In accordance with different criteria, we can see a diversity among living organisms. Organisms are diverse based on size, shape, form, and habitats. Living organisms show a wide range of variation in size, shape, form, and habitat. Size. Bacteria ranges from 1 micrometer to 5 micrometers. Giant sequoia, that's the giant redwoods, about 100 meters. I'll explain first, let's read. Shape. Organisms are diverse in shape. Some are cylindrical, example earthworm. Some have streamlined, the spindle-shaped body, streamlined body. In birds and fish. Then organisms are diverse by their form. Some are unicellular organisms, such as amoeba. Some are multicellular organisms, such as humans. Any plant or animal is an example for multicellular organisms. Then the habitat. Terrestrial organisms such as rats, aquatic ones such as fish, arboreal living on trees such as loris, and aerial ones such as birds. Who is loris, children? Who's loris? Who's loris? Okay, I'll join with you in the chat. Tell me who's Loris, children? Any idea? Slender loris, a type of monkey. Can you remember that animal who's like your friend? Yes, the Sinhala name is correct. That's Unahapulua. What's the Tamil term? My pronunciation may be kind of poor. It's called Devanga Unahapulua. What's important regarding this animal, especially for Sri Lanka children? Yes, it's endemic. What's meant by endemic, children? What's meant by endemic? Endemic means that's found naturally only in that particular country or the region. No, not that they never get extinct. They are found only in that particular region naturally. That's the meaning of endemic. Okay. I'll show you some pictures. Okay, here's your friend. The scientific name is Loris tardigradus. It's Loris tardigradus, Unahapulua in Sinhala. Okay, so we were reading about how the living world exhibits the diversity, and the four criteria that we mentioned were size, shape, form, and habitat. When it comes to the size, children, here you can see some cyanobacteria, yeast, bacteria, viruses. All these are microorganisms. So you know that they are very small in size. They are too small to be seen with the naked eyes even. So when it comes to the living world, some are that small, children. You know, the viruses cannot be observed with even the light microscope. They can be seen only with the electron microscope. And when it comes to bacteria, like, they can be observed only with the light microscope. So some are very small. Then who is considered as the largest animal in the world, children? Who is considered as the largest animal? Send your answer to the chat. Largest animal. Right, here is the answer. The blue whales. Blue whales are the largest animals in the world. Okay? Now see the size of this blue whale. This is a bridge. This is the blue whale. And these tiny black dots are vehicles. So there's a Mercedes going. Can you see? And there's a truck. There's a small van there. So compare the size of these tiny dots, which are vehicles, with the size of this giant creature, the blue whales. Blue whale's tongue only weighs equal to the weight of an elephant. Blue whale කෙනෙක්ගේ tongue එකක් equal to the weight of an elephant. හරි? අලියා නිකන් අපිට ලොකු එකෙක්නේ. But in front of blue whale, elephant is also very small. නිකන් ඌව නිකන් දිවෙන් ඒට මේට පෙරලන්නේ blue whale. Okay? That large in size. See the diversity in the living world. Some are very small, some are very massive in size. Then, which plants are considered as the largest plants or the largest trees in the world? That's a giant sequoia plant, which we call the redwoods. You can see here some giant redwoods. See, this is a human. This is the size of the human, see? So you can get an idea about the size of the tree. They grow over 100 meters. They grow over 100 meters. So see the difference, the diversity with regards to the size of the living organism, children. Some are very small, some are very big. Then the shape. Organisms have different shapes. Humans have a particular shape. Okay? And some animals are cylindrical. So being a human, try to maintain the human shape. Try to be in the good shape and the physique. Don't change it, especially with aging. Humans sometimes fail to maintain that human shape. Okay? So you need to do some, physical activities. Always you need to balance your life. While doing your education, you need to balance your life. You have to maintain your fitness, your physique, and then you can develop a good personality with that. So you have to balance the things. Right, here coming back to the shapes of living organisms, different organisms have varying shapes. Okay, fish have the streamlined body to reduce the water resistance when they swim. And birds have a different shape, elephants have a different shape. Even in microorganisms, we can observe different shapes, children. Bacteria, some are rod-shaped, which we call bacilli, and cocci, the spherical-shaped ones, vibrios, spirillum, different types of shapes are available in microorganisms as well. Then when it comes to the form of living organisms, some are unicellular. Here you can see paramecium, a unicellular organism. And the other side, who is that, children? This one? This is amoeba, unicellular organisms. And if you look at myself, I'm a multicellular organism. So by the form, organisms exhibit the diversity. Some are unicellular, whereas some are multicellular. And then we finally said that the habit-wise living organisms are going to be different. Some are arboreal, as you see your friend Loris tardigradus, Unahapulua, endemic to Sri Lanka. Okay? Sri Lanka is rich in endemism, children. A lot of endemic species are available. Why is that? What could be the reason? What do you think? What's the reason for the high degree of endemism in Sri Lanka? The reason is Sri Lanka is an island. In an island, the distribution of organisms is restricted because the island is surrounded by the ocean. Therefore, only the organisms which can swim or fly can distribute, can be spread to other regions of the world. So the main reason for the high degree of endemism in Sri Lanka is that we are an island nation. On the other hand, the climate we have, the suitable temperature, the rainfall, these things also have contributed. Actually, that basically contributes to the high biodiversity. Endemism is mainly because we are an island surrounded by the Indian Ocean. Right. Okay. So that's about how the living organisms differ from each other. In the notebook, let's write. In the notebook, let's write. No new topic, children. Just leave one line and continue your note. Living organisms show a wide range of variation. Living organisms show a wide range of variation living organisms show a wide range of variation in following criteria. In following criteria. In following criteria. Number one, size. Number one, size. Number one, size. Number two, shape. Number two, shape. Number three, form. Number four, habitat. Number one, size. Number two, shape. Number three, form. Number four, habitat. Right, then we are starting an important topic. This is page number 13. Write the topic. Characteristics of organisms. Write the new topic, children. Characteristics of organisms. Write the topic. Characteristics of organisms. Pending. Write the topic, characteristics of organisms. Write the topic, characteristics of organisms. This is page number 13. Children, to distinguish living organisms from non-living entities, we use certain characteristics of organisms. And there are 7 such characteristics given in the resource book. Only those can be written in the exam, okay? There are many more, but only these can be written in the exam. There are 7 such characteristics of living organisms. Let's start reading. In order to survive, each organism whether simple or complex, must be able to perform certain functions. Following features are the characteristics of organisms. Number 1, order and organization. Number 2, metabolism. 3, growth and development. 4, irritability and coordination. 5, adaptation. 6, reproduction. 7, heredity and evolution. Those are the 7 characters given in the resource book for you to study. In the notebook, start the topic characteristics of organisms and note down characteristics of organisms and note down. In the notebook, write the topic characteristics of organisms and then note down. To distinguish living organisms, from non-living entities, to distinguish living organisms from non-living entities, E-N-T-I-T-I-E-S, to distinguish living organisms from non-living entities, special characteristics of living organisms can be used. Special characteristics of living organisms can be used. They include, let's list down the 7 children. They include, let's list down the 7. Number 1, order and organization. You got to memorize these. Number 1, order and organization. Number 2, metabolism. List down. Number 1, order and organization. Number 2, metabolism. Number 3, growth and development. Number 3, growth and development. Number 4, irritability and coordination. Number 4, irritability and coordination. Number 5, adaptation. 4, irritability and coordination. 5, adaptation. 6, reproduction. 6, reproduction. 6, reproduction. 7, heredity and evolution. 7, heredity and evolution. Now let's take these one by one. Let's read order and organization as the first character of living organisms. Read everyone. From molecular level to biosphere, there is an order and organization in organisms to perform their biological activities efficiently. Lower level components are organized in a methodical pattern in upper level to make it most efficient. Examples: plant leaf and human eyes. Children, so one main characteristic of living organisms is the high degree of organization. If we look into the hierarchical levels of organization of the living world, we can identify this sequence. Starting with molecules, which are very simple. Now you know that the human or the living organisms are composed of biological molecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids. So if we start from the molecular level, let's see how the complexity is gradually increasing. The hierarchical levels of organization of living things. These molecules organize into organelles like mitochondria, nucleus, chloroplast. These are the organelles. So it's a more complex level than the molecules, right? Carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids like biological molecules are organized into organelles such as mitochondria and others, subcellular components. Then these organelles organize into cells. This is a milestone in this hierarchy, in this organization, because cell is considered as the basic structural and functional unit of life. In living organisms, the basic structural and functional unit is the cell. According to the cell theory that you have learned in O levels, cell is the basic structural and functional unit. For an example, as a living organism, my structural unit is cell. My functional unit is also the cell. Then the cells organize into tissues. The next level is tissues. Then the tissues, for an example, in animal bodies, we find muscle tissue, epithelial tissues, nervous tissue, and connective tissues. They organize forming organs. The next level is organs. Then organ systems. Okay, I'll join with the chat to ask some questions. Just to check, children, how many of you have received the tutorials if you have requested? First, you have to request the tutorials, then only you will receive. If you have received the tutorials, because by next week, I will be using the tutorial. I will be asking in the first unit 1 tut only. I haven't given anything to write on the tut, but from unit 2 tut onwards, now if I show you the unit 2 tut, okay, and now it's available so that you can get through the courier service. Now see in the very first page, even if you can see, okay, it's designed like a workbook. It's a 4-color book provided to you. So it's not that art paper on which you can't write. This is the bank paper on which you can write. Okay. So make sure that the tuts are requested as soon as possible so that you can get them before the discussion. Now itself it's ready. So if you register, this month, the month of March was done totally free. The payments that you make are for the next month. So you can register, make the payments, and then you will be sent with the tutorials. Try to get them as soon as possible, at least before the next week class, then we can use it. Okay, so here you need to contact the hotline. You need to contact the hotline of CCG Mahagedara. Hotline number, this is the live streaming of physical classes are done separately. It's a different work. This is the PO online class you are experiencing now. Can we display the hotline number? Okay, so now you can see the hotline number. That's a number for you to contact for all your inquiries regarding the registration work. Here it's visible now. Note 77, note 702, 702 is the hotline number for the PO online class that I conduct at CCG Online Mahagedara. The website address is also visible for you. So make your inquiries and do the registrations as soon as possible and get the tutorials if possible before we start this. Actually the syllabus work really starts with unit 2. Unit 1 is a simple unit, so therefore try to get them as soon as possible. There is a big kind of saying that I didn't get the tute. Double check whether you have submitted your payment receipts and everything. Just registration won't do, you need to complete the rest of the stages as well, then definitely you will be sent. And here it displays how to make the payments for the classes. YouTube live children, some seems to be joining from Ratnapura. Yes, those who have joined with the class with the from Ratnapura with Sisulka class, you can get them through from the institute directly. Okay, so Wednesday we have this PO online class through CCG online.lk. So those who are registering for that class will be receive the tutorials from CCG, and you know that we have some other plans as well. From Sisulka Institute we have one, and our live streaming of the physical classes are going separately. So depending on which platform you are registering, you will receive the tutorials from them. So this is PO online class that we conduct at CCG Online Mahagedara. So those who register here will receive the tutorials from CCG during this week. So make sure that you complete the registration work as soon as possible. Okay. So we were discussing the hierarchical levels of organization of living matter. Right here, as I said, starting from the simple levels like molecules, the complexity is being increased with the high degree of organization. Organelles such as mitochondria and the other organelles will compose the cell. Cells will organize into tissues, and tissues will organize into organs, and organs will organize into organ systems. Organ systems will form the body of organisms, and organisms of the same species. Several organisms of the same species compose population. Populations interacting with each other compose communities, and the ecosystems and the biosphere. This is how the hierarchical levels of organization in the living world. Right, in the notebook write, first subtopic, order and organization. In the notebook, write the subtopic. This is the first character of living organisms, order and organization. Order and organization. Write the note. From molecular level to biosphere, number 1, order and organization, that is the topic. From molecular level to biosphere, there's an order and organization in organisms to perform. From molecular level to biosphere, there's an order and organization in organisms to perform their biological activities efficiently. from molecular level to biosphere, there is an order, an organization in organisms to perform their biological activities efficiently. Next line. Hierarchical levels of organization of living things are as follows. Hierarchical levels of organization of living things are as follows. Hierarchical levels of organization of living things are as follows. Now, like a flow chart, write this sequence, children. Like a flow chart, write this sequence starting from molecules. Write this sequence. No need of drawing. Write the sequence. Starting with molecules, then molecules, arrow organelles, arrow cells, arrow tissues, then organs, organ systems, organisms, populations, communities, ecosystems, and finally the biosphere. Write the order. There are like some children asking from which platform. The platform that you have registered currently will send you the tutorials once you complete your registration and payments. So any is fine. I mean, whatever you have joined by now, you can continue. This is currently you are joining with the CCG online, the full online class, not the live streaming sessions of the physical classes. So those who prefer live streaming can go with Biozone. Those who want PO online experience can go with CCG online Mahagadara. Okay, complete the sequence. Right, then that's the end of the first character. Make sure that cell is considered. That there were some questions asking whether it's organelle or the cell. No, it's the cell, the basic structural and functional unit of life. Below the sequence of hierarchical levels of organization, write in red. Write in red. Cell is considered as the basic structural and functional unit of life or living organisms. Cell is considered as the basic structural and functional unit of living organisms. Cell is considered as the basic structural and functional unit of living organisms. Right, then children, quickly refer to the memory booster one. It was provided to you last week and it's available in the description of YouTube live, live, and also in the Zoom chat. As far as I remember, we completed first and second questions. Am I correct, children? Third question, actually The second statement is incorrect as it says 7 billion. But that incorrect fact is given in the resource book. Therefore, we cannot consider that as incorrect. Therefore, there's no answer for the fourth question. Tell me, did we complete first and second questions? Yes, right? Okay, how about third question? How about the third question? We didn't. Okay, let's see the answer for the third. Select the incorrect statement. Life on Earth formed around 3.5 billion years ago. That's correct. Life on Earth formed around 3.5 billion years ago, correct. The first formed organisms are believed to be heterotrophic anaerobic prokaryotes, correct. Evolution process resulted in the extensive biodiversity which exists in the biosphere now, correct. Scientists assume based on their studies that there are about 10 to over 100 million species in the world, correct. The Earth was formed around 4.6 billion years before. Sorry, children. The first life on Earth formed around 3.5 billion years ago, correct? The second one says the first formed organisms are believed to be heterotrophic, aerobic, not anaerobic. The word given there is aerobic. That is the mistake, children. That's why the second statement is incorrect. All the others are correct statements. Answer is number 2. Answer is number 2 because it says the first formed organisms are believed to be heterotrophic, aerobic. They are not aerobic, they are anaerobic organisms. Answer is number 2. In the fourth question, the wrong fact is the 7 billion. But 7 billion, the wrong fact is they are in the resource book. Until they change, we can't consider it as a wrong fact. Therefore, all the statements given in the fourth question are correct. Fifth one, non-communicable disease is what? CKDU. Fifth question. CKDU, chronic kidney disease of unknown etiology, that is the non-communicable disease. Question number 6. Which one of the following is not a main characteristic of living organisms? Quickly send your answers, children. This question is the answer 1 for the fourth question. Fourth. Sustainable food production is the production of sufficient amounts of food for the human population using environmentally safe methods. Sustainable food production is the production of first one is correct statement. The current human population is 7 billion, also correct according to resource book. All the statements in the fourth question are correct, children. The actually incorrect one is number 2, but that figure is the figure given in the resource book as well. Therefore, let's take that as a correct one. Until the resource book is changed, we can't change the facts. Sixth one, what is your answer? Which one of the following is not a main characteristic of living organism? Adaptation is, reproduction is, metabolism is, aerobic respiration, wrong. Answer is number 4. Answer is number 4. Heredity and evolution is a main character. Answer is number 4. Seventh question, which one of the following is not an adaptation? That we can't do yet. Eighth question, select the answer. 8 still we can't do. It comes under heredity and evolution. 10th question, children. 10th question. What is considered as the basic structural and functional unit of life? Yes, it's a cell. Answer is number 2. There are some remaining questions to complete in this. We can complete them next week. And those who have the tutorial, you can write the sequence here next to the diagrams: molecules, organelles, cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, organisms, populations, communities, ecosystems, and biosphere. In the tute, you can label these pictures as well. Okay, children, so we started the topic, the characteristics of living organisms. We listed down the 7 characteristics and we completed the first one. So we have just 2 more pages to complete Unit 1. So next week we will be starting Unit 2. The tutorial for Unit 2 is ready by now. So complete your registrations as soon as possible and get the tute in your hand if possible before the next week class. Okay? So those who are joining through the CCG online.lk, the hotline was provided to you previously, and contact the number and complete the registration and make the payments for the next month, and then they will send you the tutorials, the full pack of tutorials straight away, and try to get the tutorial in your hand before we start unit number 2. Okay then, so that's the end of the second day of our class. Hope you are getting the best English medium online class experience here. You know that we are maintaining a good standard in the class, not just an ordinary class which is not focused on results. We are mainly focused on results, and we have produced the best results as an English medium biology class in Sri Lanka. So you have joined with the best English medium biology class in Sri Lanka. So therefore, you are secured with this plan, but you have to work with us to earn your result. You can't just get it. You have to earn your result with smart and hard work. Okay? Right. So since it's 10:30 past by now, it's almost 10:40 now. So let's stop for the day, children. Good night, everybody. See you in the next week class, but there won't be a YouTube live next week. So please join with the CCG online Mahagadara and participate to the next week class through the Zoom app. That's how the plan. Good night, everybody. See you next week.
CCG online Mahakethara.